Oh, this is going to be interesting. What up, people? Yeah, I'm not there yet, but we're almost. Let's turn this music down right now because we got to get this thing started. Here we go. Good damn morning. Happy Thursday. It's the Morning Night Live. And that guy has passed away. Now, as expected, very strong reactions around the world. It's an interesting thing. So many people saw him as this great statesman, and so many see him or saw him as this great villain. And I think if you look on who has the stronger reactions today, I think the villain part is seems to be winning the ledger. Now, I have to admit, while I know of Henry Kissinger and grew up basically him being a fixture in American politics for the most of my formative years, I didn't know a hell of a lot about him. But we're going to talk about him anyway, because everyone else is. Because, that's how it goes. Anyway, stop that music. Johnny, play the intro. I'm done with this.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Yeah. Let's just get it started. Turn that off. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet, and welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel, where we discuss things happening in the world, and apparently the number one thing happening in the world and most trending topic is the passing of Henry Kissinger, former Secretary of State under President Nixon, longtime fixture in American politics. Many people think he was a great statesman. Many thinks he's a war criminal. But the vitriolic reaction, just the fact that he's gone, and the vitriolic reaction of the X sphere, the Twitter sphere, whatever you call it, is wild. And there's a lot of people who just absolutely hate the man. And he did some things that you just go, oh man. I mean, and it's what's interesting. And when I say he did some things, he was instrumental in certain policies. He wasn't a president, but he was a close advisor to Nixon, and he people credit him with a lot of bad things. And so we'll get to it. I mean, that's basically the topic. But I have so many headlines to get caught up on today, and just news from the headlines from today, and the trending topics and everything, that we just need to get through it fast today. So that's what we're going to do. It is FTG Thursday. You can throw out the FTGs. I'm probably not going to. Well, I'm sure there's plenty of FTGs for Henry Kissinger, for one. But we'll see. I wish I knew. I'm not an aficionado on Henry Kissinger, but boy, oh boy, the reactions some are brutal. And anyway, let's say hi to everybody and get this shit going. So good. First over the chat on Rumble, Mr. Avocados Diabli gets the bell. And good morning to Jimmy Das Hotep Nation. Salute. Hope you all have a good day. Does that mean you're not sticking around, Jimmy? I'm not sure. Or you just because you're being kind and say have a good day, and I appreciate that. So anyway, welcome to the show. That's it. A Rumble. Is anyone else there? It says 5, which I'm one of the 3 that you can see. So there's 2 more. Whatever. It's funny. Yesterday when I ended the show yesterday, there was like 25 people watching on Rumble. And I'm like, wow, where did y'all come from? And why didn't you chat or something? But, you know, that's cool. I'm glad to see some people watch over there. And I'm glad to see people watch on YouTube. We get a good mix of the two. So let's, on YouTube, though, there's already 23 people here. First in the chat, Avocados Diablo gets the bell there, too. Also, good morning to the gentleman Lich Tire Alexander. I don't know why the hell I do that. That's so weird. I don't know. Anyway, also, good morning, Jimmy Das Hotep, Lord Stanhope, Gunfox 61, the ever present and automatically awesome administrator of the Discord server. Good morning also to Lord Stanhope's in the house. Simon Wolfwood, good morning. JB is here. Good morning also. Oh my, that thing skipped a long way down. What the hell did I do there? Let's see. Trippy Liberty's in the house. Good morning, my brother. My favorite Canadian Jaeger ponies in the house. Tex 8G007. And let's see. I said JB. EIN. How you doing? That's a long way to spell EIN. Arguably, he ran the U.S. Yeah, he kind of, in some ways, you might say he did. That's interesting. So we're gonna get all through this. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about Mr. Kissinger. But anyway, that's everyone that's said hi. 28. Oh man, people are just rolling in, rolling. Kissinger is now old people kindling. Rod Line's in the house too. What up, Rod Line? And Andrew Thorsten. People are rolling in. Yeah, old people kindling. Old people kindling. Folks, make sure to hit the like button. And link the Rumble link. Did I link the Rumble link? I'm not sure. Anyway, and is Rumble working today? Yes, it is. Hot damn. That's a good damn thing. So let's oh, and it is the last day of November. Remember, tomorrow morning, first things out of your mouth, if you say rabbit, you'll have good luck for the rest of December. Wow, November's over. It just seems like it was just Halloween, doesn't it? But then again, I think of Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving was last week, right? It feels like Thanksgiving was weeks ago. I mean, because, we didn't have, well, part of the reason it does, okay, in my house, this year we did not have as many leftovers. We didn't have as many leftovers because, you put the link. Thank you for putting the Rumble link. By the way, thank you to the people who are sharing the show too. Let me thank a few people for that too. Gunfox61, aka, what do you call yourself on Twitter? I saw it. Mac Wolf and Somnambule Nation. Thank you, Tyre Alexander. I think I saw somebody else. Thank you for all of you who are tweeting out the show. Please share the stream. That's very important every day. If you share the stream, we all stream for iStream. What the hell is that? Not rabbit. Here, tomorrow morning, if you wake up, first things out of your mouth, rabbit. How do you spell rabbit? It's two B's. B-I-T. Is that right? No, that's not. How do you spell? Rabbit, R-A-B-B-I-T, right? Why am I freaking out on how to spell rabbit? Rabbit.
Not today, old friend. But don't worry. Holidays are just around the corner.
Okay, what the fuck is that? What the hell was that? What the hell was that? Wait a minute. That's not even... What the hell was that? Hello, Jay Blizza. How you doing? Rumble is working. Good. What the hell was that, and where did it come from? Do I have it? Wait, do I have a... Let me see something. Nope, that ain't it. Do I have a... I have no idea where that... Did you hear that? I don't know. Anyway, not rapid. Okay, stop it. Stop it, Tyre. You're killing me. Also, good morning, Zed the Shark, the Snarky. What's up? Okay, so let's do... by the way... I was thinking about something. And maybe let's put this in the... Okay, where is that coming from? Where the hell is that coming from? Do y'all hear that? Is there something that I don't know about? on my. How did that happen? Okay, here's the deal. I have no idea where that came from. It's not on any of my windows here. You do hear it. Okay, I thought I was losing my damn mind. I did not do that. That's interesting. Okay, well, we'll find out eventually. My question of the day, though. That's my question of the day. I really don't know where that's coming from. Hello, St. Michael, too. I'm going to add a question of the day because as I heard Mariah Carey singing All I Want for Christmas Is You, that is one Christmas song that I cannot stand. It's like my least favorite Christmas song. So today's question of the day on the Q&A, what is your least favorite Christmas song? Now, I know not everybody celebrates Christmas, but you know the damn Christmas songs. And there's, I know that, or what is your least favorite or the worst Christmas song? And I got a couple nominees. One of them is that song. Because I don't know why I don't like the song. I just don't like that song. So I don't want to hear it. And it comes up way too often. And I think another one of the worst ones is one of the worst ones that I it's got to be not Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. I can't stand that one either. And but I don't hate it as much as I hate I don't hate it as much as All I Want for Christmas Is You. And I don't know why I hate that song so much. I'm trying to figure it out. Don't put it in the chat. Put it in the question box. Don't put it in the chat because I want to be able to find these later, and I won't be able to find it if you do it in there. By the way, good morning, Darren Root. Oh, King in Yellow. That's a block around it, and Tales of Gore. What's up? Good morning. Okay, let's get into the show because we'll start with don't answer in the chat. Answer in the question, the Q&A. Okay, we're gonna start with the main topic today because we might get stuck on it for a while. I don't know. Maybe we won't. But as you know, that guy is passed away. Henry Kissinger, former Secretary of State, longtime advisor to many presidents, and interestingly enough, also for a long time kind of a media favorite. And maybe still a lot of conservatives, I guess, like Henry Kissinger. I'm not really sure, but we're gonna just go through some of the Twitter feed, and we're gonna go through one article how Breitbart described it, because Breitbart's right of center, and I was seeing all these people just savaging Henry Kissinger. So I was curious on how right-wing media described the man. And the only article that I'm sure there's other articles out there, but the Breitbart one was the one that popped up. And so I'm going to start with that, and then we'll go to Twitter, because Twitter's much more savage than this Breitbart article. So here we go. Here is the Breitbart article. Now, again, Henry Kissinger, legendary American diplomat, 1923 to 2023. Now, when you say the word legendary, a lot of people will say, okay, that's complimentary. That doesn't necessarily, you can be legendary and not that necessarily be complimentary. Okay. But as we read the article, you'll see that obviously Breitbart has they balanced it a little bit, but they tend to, it seems, if you go by this, that they liked Mr. Henry Kissinger. Henry Alfred Kissinger died on Wednesday, November 29th, at the age of 100, leaving behind a diplomatic legacy that is America's answers to Clemens von Metternich, the conservative statesman who restored the balance of power to Europe in the aftermath of the upheavals caused by Napoleon. Now, that is, good morning, Cannibalistic Wizard, by the way. So that seems complimentary, doesn't it? Look, I don't know that Henry Kissinger was a good man. But anyway, Kissinger was a conservative internationalist. Is that like another word for globalist? I don't know. I don't know. Hello, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Is that another word for globalist? One who favored engagement over neutrality, but who prioritized American interests in doing so, and sought to create stability that would ultimately work to America's advantage. And that is true. I mean, he kind of kept that line between Russia and China. He got Nixon to go to China. He got, and also, kind of continued the Cold War era as a Secretary of State. But anyway, now, in fact, the next line, Kissinger's great achievement was to split communist China from the Soviet Union. He engineered a thaw in relations that saw President Richard M. Nixon, who had built his political career as a tough anti-communist, visiting China in 1972. Though one of his successors, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, later declared that the policy of engaging China had been a failure, the fact was that it isolated the USSR, the Soviet Union at the time, good morning, amazing disgrace, and weakened it. Which, actually, I mean, that is true, okay? Helping to precipitate the collapse of the Soviet Union and its satellites 2 decades later. At the same time, now they don't back off from the bad stuff either. At the same time, Kissinger was reviled by the left for his role in expanding the Vietnam War to Cambodia. And you know what? I wouldn't say just the left. I would say the anti-war faction, because not everyone anti-war is on the left. And, some conservatives who are anti-war look back on that and go, yeah, that was probably not too cool. Expanding the Vietnam War to Cambodia and for backing right-wing dictatorships and militias around the world as a counterweight to Soviet rebels and regimes. Now, part of that, and again, it was a different area. Remember, it's the era of the Soviet Union, and our biggest seemingly concern from the late 50s into the 70s and even into the 80s was communism and the Soviet expansion, right? So, obviously, a different time, right? So anyway, and so for backing right-wing dictatorships and militias around the world as a counterweight to Soviet rebels and regimes, critic Christopher Hitchens, later a supporter of the Iraq War, imagined trying Kissinger for war crimes. Now, and that's a lot of people talking about that, and about Hitchens especially, who was especially a critical of Kissinger. Whether admired or loathed, Kissinger was a symbol of American realpolitik, to borrow a term Otto von Bismarck of the 19th century statesman who built Kissinger's native Germany. Born Heinz Alfred Kissinger to a Jewish family in Fürth, Kissinger came to the U.S. as a teenage refugee from the Nazis in 1938. He would return to Germany in an American uniform, working as an interpreter for the U.S. Army. When he returned to the U.S., he studied at Harvard. His 400-page undergraduate thesis on history and politics remains a legendary achievement. He became a widely respected scholar in the emerging field of international affairs before being tapped as an advisor to the U.S. government. In 1968, Nixon named Kissinger as National Security Advisor. He retained that title unusually when Nixon appointed him as So when he was the Secretary of State, he stayed on also as the National Security Advisor when Nixon appointed him as Secretary of State in 1973. Almost immediately, Kissinger faced his first major crisis in the Yom Kippur War when Egypt and Syria launched a surprise attack on Israel on October 6, 1973. Wow, that sounds familiar. While Nixon made sure that Israel had the ammunition to fight, Kissinger sought to restrain Israeli victories so as not to upset the balance of power and his effort at detente with the Soviet Union. We hear some of that too. By the way, good morning, Special Can Acid and Maddie. Oh, and Rachel Maddow's dildo. Kissinger's role in that crisis is memorably portrayed by Liev Schreiber in the recent film Golda. Kissinger was often opposed to Israel's position. Supposedly, the following exchange occurred, as recalled by a correspondent with the New York Times. Take it with a grain of salt. Quote, during the impasse in Middle East negotiations, Dr. Kissinger said, Golda, you must remember that first, I am an American. Second, I am Secretary of State. And third, I am a Jew. Golda Meir responded, Henry, you forget that Israel, in Israel, that we read from right to left, or from right to left. So anyway, by then Kissinger had already won the 1973 Nobel Peace Prize for his work in helping craft an agreement with North Vietnam to end the Vietnam War, a key Nixon campaign promise. See, now people, he expanded into Cambodia, but he also was instrumental in ending our involvement in Vietnam. So he got a peace prize for that. So, all these war criminals. Hello, Sarian Wizard. Let's see. His reputation was only slightly marred by the final chaotic American withdrawal from Saigon in 1975. By then, President Gerald Ford was in the Oval Office, having been elevated after Nixon's resignation in the Watergate scandal. Ford retained Kissinger as Secretary of State, a sign of the esteem in which he was held. Such was Kissinger's commitment to realpolitik that he once famously dismissed the idea of pressuring the Soviet Union to allow Jews to immigrate. As Tablet magazine recalled in 2010, the immigration of Jews from the Soviet Union is not an objective of American foreign policy, Kissinger said, and if they put Jews into gas chambers in the Soviet Union, it is not an American concern, but maybe a humanitarian concern. So it's not saying it's not solely an American concern. Anyway, responded Nixon, I know we can't blow up the world because of it. Interesting. President Ronald Reagan took a different approach, placing the moral case against the Soviet Union at the center of the U.S. opposition to communism. Former Soviet prisoner Nathan Sharansky, who was jailed for trying to immigrate to Israel, would later say that Reagan's shift was the key to bringing down the Soviet evil empire. The brutal punishment of those who simply wanted to leave the supposed communist utopia undermined the moral foundation of a system that had kept half the world in thrall. For nearly half a century, after he left public office, Kissinger continued to consult for American and world leaders and to write about foreign policy. As a pillar of the foreign policy establishment, he drew criticism from some conservatives. He came to symbolize the rise of a corporatist class within the Republican Party, revolving around Wall Street and Washington, resisting populist reforms. And that's where, some of the anti-war, the populist right do not revere Kissinger. He was Nelson Rockefeller's agent, no friend of the Republicans' conservatives, the Times wrote in 1982. When Kissinger criticized Reagan's foreign policy in Europe, he thought Reagan was too timid in his support for Poland against the USSR. His 2014 book, World Order, drew criticism from some conservatives for its somewhat aspirational view of international harmony, though Kissinger emphasized in the book that the sovereignty of the nation-state remained the best guarantor of order. He praised Americans' idealism, which was often missing from his realist foreign policy, but he also noted the limits of idealism in foreign affairs and pointed out its failures in the Middle East, where the project of spreading democracy had largely failed. So he's kind of right there. Last year, he took a controversial stance on the Ukraine war, arguing against George Soros and advocating for a settlement that would acknowledge Russia's role in Europe. He was concerned as ever about keeping Russia and China apart. Yeah, that's not a terrible idea either. Anyway, though hardly an idealistic view, ongoing stalemate and the rising Russia-China axis suggests Kissinger had a point. Well, yeah, he kind of did, eh? I said that, added that A for you Canadians, because, thank you. So anyway, that's an interesting, Breitbart kind of stuck with the facts, I guess. But if you go on to X, the app formerly known as Twitter, oh boy, the smoke is rising out of this hellhole known as Twitter. So we'll just go down. We're going to go down the Kissinger's trending. We'll go down the Kissinger trend a little bit here. And we're just going to start at the top. Dr. Jason Phillips, spelled it in a way that only... Oh, he changed it. Look, so his name is Jason Phillips, but he put Dr. Jaison Phillip, MS, and whatever. He says, normally I don't... Wait a minute. I'm going to call bullshit on this right from the beginning, but he says, normally I don't post negative messages, but today is an exception. Rest in hell, monster Kissinger, who died yesterday. This monster, one, called Indians bastards during the 71 war, was largely responsible for the genocide of millions. What? Was largely responsible for the genocide of millions and rape of Laks and Bengalis, arming Yahya Khan in the middle of a genocide, prevented Indira Gandhi's second nuclear test by visiting her and telling her aide, "First time I forgave you, test again and I will destroy India." And if you'd say it in Captain Kissinger's voice, he'd be like this in a very thick accent. Was the butcher of Vietnam, just as how now again, remember arming the Yahya Khan who's worried about communist spread. It's a completely different time, but and you look back on it in hindsight, you're like, well, what the fuck? Anyway, was the butcher of Vietnam, just as Halagu Khan was in Baghdad and Tika Khan Rao, Farman Ali in Dhaka, toppled Latin American democracies and installed repressive dictators. That kind of backfired on us in a couple of places. He was behind the U.S. bombing of Cambodia, initially supported Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge. The trial of Henry Kissinger by Christopher Hitchens exposes the devil. He conducted the 1973 Chile coup, overthrowing Salvador Allende's democracy and installing Augusto Pinochet, the mass murderer. He supported apartheid. He tried to assassinate the president of Cyprus. He was the brain behind the invasion of East Timor in 1975. Multiple assassinations, coups, and democracies, genocides, millions of civilian deaths, mass rapes, torture chambers, wars, refugee crisis, napalm bombing trace their origin to Henry Kissinger flexing his gray cells. Rotten hell, Satan. So that is, woo! He went off on Henry Kissinger. And that's basically based on Christopher Hitchens' book, Democracy Now! Let's see what this, oh goodness, let's see this. Who is Henry Kissinger? Now, Democracy Now! Is very, very left-wing outlet, just FYI if you didn't know. All right, oh shoot, what do I want to do here? We'll make this full screen. We'll watch this. We'll watch this one. We'll watch some of it until it gets redundant. So here's Democracy Now!'s take on Henry Kissinger.
Henry Kissinger has died at the age of 100. To many in the Washington establishment, Kissinger will likely be remembered as one of the most influential diplomats in U.S. history.
Okay.
And around the world, including in Chile, East Timor, Bangladesh, and Cambodia, Henry Kissinger is remembered as a war criminal whose actions led to massacres, coups, and even genocide. Kissinger, who was born in Germany, served as U.S. Secretary of State under Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford from 1973 to 1977. He also...
I'm not sure how much of this I can even play, but you can already see there's a very different tone than the Breitbart article, emphasizing the bad things he did, and he he did plenty of bad shit. I'm telling you. I'll just do a little more. You're getting the idea. Then they're interviewing someone who's supposedly first clue should have been born in Germany. Well, he was a Jew in Germany, and he escaped Germany because of the bad shit that Germany was doing. But Germans have this thing though. They have this whether they were they're a little harsh kind of peoples, and
served as national.
Don't play any of it, okay? You're right. I'm not going to, but it is quite the, it's very harsh. And they're interviewing Greg Grandin about the diplomat celebrated with the U.S. establishment and condemned by human rights groups worldwide for overseeing massacres, etc. So anyway, I'm just going to go down and do a few more of these. I don't even feel like celebrating Henry Kissinger's death. He lived to be 100. He lived around 25 years longer than my grandfather. He won. There is no justice in the world. I got to be careful with what I say, but it's absurd we allowed him to live so long. Now that's an amazing way to put it. He's saying there is no justice in the world. I got to be careful what I say, but it's absurd we allowed him to live so long. Who is we? And again, this is someone's Revolutionary Black Network, socialist MMA, whatever, socialist type person. But he's kind of lamenting the fact that his grandfather only lived to 75, and someone he reviles lived to 100. That's kind of his point. But a lot of these type of things like this, Kissinger's resting place, as in rest in piss, they say, like they like to say. Henry Kissinger dead at going underground. Henry Kissinger dead at 100. A detail of his crimes in Chile. So here's someone talking about what he did in Chile. Well, let's go through this, because this is one of those ones where you go, what were we doing with this? Why? And I don't understand. Before I do, real quick though, thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, for sponsoring the show. And you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, dropping a deuce in the tip jar, which I'll be cleaning up a little later. He says, Kissinger said Trump would be a transformative president because he doesn't owe anything to anyone for his success in politics. If he gets back in, just clean house. That's right. That might be your commentary. In the immortal words of Elon Musk, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Hi, Bob. Okay, so that's right. All right, thank you, Black Hebrews, for sponsoring the show. So here's the details of the Chile thing. Following the democratic election of a Marxist-Leninist president, that's, you know what I mean. President Salvador Allende, U.S. President Nixon, and Secretary of State Kissinger sought to sabotage Chile and destroy the government from day one. Yes, because we were on that communist tip, right? 8 days after Allende's election, Kissinger initiated discussion on the telephone with CIA Director Richard Helm about a preemptive coup in Chile. We will not let Chile go down the drain, Kissinger declared. I am with you, Helms replied. Their conversation took place 3 days before President Nixon. In a 15-minute meeting that included Kissinger ordered the CIA to make the economy scream, a direct order to punish the people of Chile for choosing socialism. Nixon named Kissinger, and that's why leftists really hate him, because, they love them some socialism, some Marxist-Leninism. Nixon named Kissinger as the supervisor of the covert efforts to keep Allende from being inaugurated. Kissinger lobbied President Nixon to reject the State Department's recommendation that the U.S. seek a modus vivendi with Allende. In an 8-page secret briefing paper, Kissinger wrote to Nixon that the election of Allende as president of Chile poses for us one of the most serious challenges ever faced in this hemisphere, and your decision as what to do about it may be the most historic and difficult foreign affairs decision you will make this year. Not only were $1 billion of U.S. investments at stake, Kissinger reported, but what he called the insidious model effect of his democratic election. There was no way for the U.S. to deny Allende's legitimacy, Kissinger noted, and if he succeeded in peacefully reallocating resources in Chile in a socialist direction, other countries might follow suit. The example of successful elected Marxist government in Chile would surely have an impact on an even precedent value for other parts of the world, especially in Italy. The imitative spread of similar phenomena elsewhere would in turn significantly affect the world balance and our own position in it. After Pinochet's successful coup and the murder of Allende, Kissinger helped give the fascist regime economic, military, and diplomatic support, with Pinochet brought under Operation Condor, a CIA plan for continental fascism in Latin America to crush communism, socialism, and trade union movements, and a role in disastrous neoliberalism. Kissinger in 1976 told Pinochet that his regime was a victim of leftist propaganda on human rights. In the United States, as you know, we are sympathetic in what you're trying to do here. Kissinger told Pinochet, we want to help, not undermine you. You did a great service to the West in overthrowing Allende. Well, that may or may not be true, but then Pinochet turned out to be a shitbag. And so, it's a case of, you're damned with who you do and you're damned with who you don't. And in American foreign policy back then, it was brutal. So that's one of the reasons. And so there are a lot of problems with Kissinger. but there's more people talking about. Let's see. And oh, by the way, this is apparently Henry Kissinger was a mentor of Klaus Schwab. So when you say the internationalists, internationalists they called him, which is another word for globalist. So here's one, Wide Awake Media. When Klaus Schwab's mentor, the late Henry Kissinger, says it was a grave mistake to import so many people of totally different cultures and religions to the West because of the tensions that arise as a result, that you can absolutely certain that this was the plan all along. If divide and conquer wasn't such an effective strategy, globalists wouldn't employ it so extensively. Interesting statement, right? We'll do a couple more. Here, Kissinger during the first oil shock I don't have this on the page, silly me. Kissinger during the first oil shock in 1973. It is ridiculous that the civilized world is held hostage by 8 million savages. Can we overthrow one of the sheiks just to show that we can do it? What's up, Brett Hayes? How you doing? And those ain't real, dude. Good morning. Yeah, what is it? I'm trying to read this, but it's really hard to read. They sometimes indulge in crude stereotypes and imperialist nostalgia. Kissinger told his staffers, I know what would have happened in the 19th century, but we can't do it. The idea that a Bedouin kingdom could hold up Western Europe and the United States would have been absolutely inconceivable. They would have landed, what does it say? They would have landed, they would have divided up the oil fields, and they would have solved the problem. In other words, he's lamenting that you can't just go in there and kill them and steal the oil, which we kind of end up doing. Well, I shouldn't say that. Anyway, so here's a list of the crimes that people say that that Henry Kissinger. What happened there? These are the crimes he's that people, when they say he's a war criminal, these are the crimes that they say he committed or was a part of. The Cambodia bombing, the carpet bombing, that's where the term carpet bombing came from, was in Cambodia, which they brought into the Vietnam War, 500,000 killed. East Timor invasion support, 200,000 deaths. Chile government overthrow, U.S.-backed Pinochet's dictatorship. Bangladesh killings, 3 million deaths. I'm not sure what that's about. Argentina's dirty war, 30,000 killed and 30,000 disappeared. Laos bombings, 200,000 deaths. Vietnam War toll, 2.5 to 3 million. Now, look, the Vietnam War toll, that was inherited, and but yeah, that's where you're going to hear from it. So. Other things trending related to Kissinger. Good riddance is one of them. That a lot of people are tweeting good riddance to Henry Kissinger. Here's an example, Dead at 100, good riddance, Henry Kissinger. You were one of the worst things to happen to America and to the world. Well, not to the entire world, but anyway, America's most notorious war criminal, Henry Kissinger, is dead. From Vietnam to Chile to Argentina to Angola, he was complicit in millions of deaths. Despite living 100 years, he never showed remorse or even regretted his crimes. What an evil man, good riddance. So people are not happy with him, and it's just on and on. I can't even show you the scope of how many of these types of posts there are. Just tons of them. Also trending because of that, though, is Richard Nixon. Obviously, Nixon is the one who brought on Kissinger as an advisor. Roger Stone mentioned Richard Nixon ordered the airlift of millions in lethal aid to Israel that saved Israel from annihilation in the 1973 Yom Kippur War over the vehement objection of Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger didn't want to be involved in that, and Nixon did it anyway. And then Stone says, Nixon told me the reason he did not destroy the tapes was as a protection against Kissinger taking credit for Nixon's foreign policy accomplishments after Nixon's death. Yeah, they butt-headed a little bit. Scott Adams, that's a whole different one. That's not it. And then Nixon when Nixon and Kissinger recognized China, it was a dirt poor agrarian country. Neither could foresee that Bush would give them the most favored nation trading status, and Clinton would sell them top secret defense technology, making them the dangerous adversary they are today. Yeah, Nixon got us in relations with China, and it's interesting how China's grown, and China is asshole. Well, that too. Thank you, random dude in Taiwan. So anyway, so let's move on from that. Other things trending today: Cambodia, again because of Kissinger, and that's Henry Kissinger was responsible for the murder of millions. His illegal carpet bombing of Cambodia killed 150,000 innocent people. If there's a hell, he'll get a VIP room. Anthony Bourdain, no fan of Kissinger. Once you've been to Cambodia, you'll never stop wanting to beat Henry Kissinger to death with your bare hands. And then the people of Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, the Middle East, Africa, and Latin America, when asked what they think of Henry Kissinger's dying, let's see what this lady's saying here.
Don't you think she did any good?
Not a bit of good. Not a bit. I put a stake through her heart and garlic around her neck to make sure she never come back.
Okay, I don't think she's talking about Kissinger, but Kissinger turned Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos into hell on earth, the most bombed places in history, millions of tons of napalm and landmines, millions of lives destroyed, children crippled, pain beyond imagination. They are only some of the countries tortured. So that, as the National Security Advisor, they're saying that. I don't think anyone has anything good to say about Kissinger. What's this? This is Jack Posobiec. The left will talk about Kissinger and Cambodia all day long, but never mention the murderous Cambodian communists who slaughtered a quarter of their own countrymen in the name of progress and equality. A lot of y'all have never seen the killing fields, and it shows. Yeah, I mean, but didn't Kissinger have some hand in letting Pol Pot get into power, and then they had to go back and go, oh, this was not good? The Khmer Rouge did that? Okay. Yeah. So I'm looking at the chat now. China has reached communism's final form, fascism. Nixon and Kissinger shared their first kiss in Bohemian Grove. Never listened to a drunk. He didn't turn them into hell. He did make it worse. Yeah. I mean, there was a government there killing a bunch of their own people too. So let's not forget that part. But anyway, so several things are trending related to him. Let's move on to some different things. Let's now I'm not sure. There's inflation numbers out today, which I don't.
New sweet fish every day. Keep that skunky cunt away. Sweet fish.
Where the actual fuck is that coming from? What the hell was that? Where is that coming from? I cannot figure it out. I'm going to be looking through all these. It's got to be coming from the internet somewhere, but I don't know which thing it's come from. So anyway, you're going to have some random music pop-ups that I have no idea where they're coming from. So an inflation number came out today, but I've never heard of it said this way. So core PCE inflation. So I got to look this up real quick. Core PCE inflation. Okay, let's see what this says. Oh, personal consumption expenditures. Okay, so here it is on Brave. Look this up. The Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index is a measure of inflation in the U.S. that tracks the change in prices of a particular basket of goods and services purchased by consumers throughout the economy. The core measure of PCEPI excludes food and energy products whose prices tend to be volatile. The annual core PCE price index, the Federal Reserve's preferred gauge of inflation, edged higher. This is an earlier version because we're going to go to the current one. So anyway, I wanted to look that up because I didn't know what that bleep it was. So we'll get rid of that now. I don't need that now. We know this. So here it is. The PCE is annualized 1 month, 2%, 3 months, 2.4%, 6 months, 2.5%, 12 months, 3.5%. Now, I'm not, the 1 month change. Okay, here it is. Good morning. Core PCE and unemployment at 8:30. Powell tomorrow. The Fed's preferred measure of inflation, core PCE, moved down to 3.5% in October, the lowest since April 2021. What's this guy? So back to close to where he started. The Fed fund rate is now 1.8% above core PCE, the most restrictive monetary policy we've seen since 2007. Now, the expectation for core PCE, I think, was 3%. Or near, it was or 3.7%, and forecast 3.5%, actual 3.5%. So it's still now. When you hear people like, "Oh, Richard Head, what's up?" Evan S, what's up? Nice to see you guys in the chat. When you hear people like Latrine Jean-Pierre say that prices are down, prices for this is down, this is that down. No, they're not. The core PCE is 3.5%, meaning from a year ago. And then you add that to the year before that, and you add that to the year before that. Now, the rate of inflation is slightly down from the highs during this administration. But it's still causing problems. And let me give you an example of that with this article, again, from Breitbart, the right-wing nutjob news network, who does good reporting on certain things, and then they do biased reporting on certain things, and they have good reporting on certain things. But anyway, by inflation, U.S. households are spending an extra $11,400 annually to afford the basics. $11,400 more than what, though? I'm curious. Than what? Than when Biden started, which is probably what they meant. The average U.S. household needs an extra $11,400 per year just to maintain the same standard of living as they had only a few years ago before inflation hit record highs under the Biden administration. A Tuesday CBS News Money Watch report used government data to determine, and again, this is CBS Money Watch. This isn't Breitbart Money Watch. CBS, part of the mainstream media. They used government data to determine how much Americans paid to live in January 2021 compared to today, finding that the typical family just can't compete with the 40-year record high inflation. While the average hourly pay for workers has increased by 13.6% since the beginning of 2021, inflation has increased by 17% over the same period. The report found that the main categories requiring heavier spending are basic survival needs like food, transportation, housing, and energy. Those spending areas account for almost 80 cents of every dollar in additional spending, an analysis from Republican members of the U.S. Senate's Joint Economic Committee revealed. They revealed it. We chose January 2021 as the base month because it was the last time inflation was within recent historical norms. The introduction to their November 2022 report reads, stating that prices began to accelerate soon after. And that's also when Joe Biden took office. So, I mean, that's interesting. And again, as Latrine tries to tell you that, well, prices are lower and the cost of toys are lower for Christmas and everything's great and dandy. Yeah, Americans are still saying, well, we're still spending a hell of a lot more than we were before you assholes got here. Anyway, moving on. Elon Musk is trending, and basically because he told Disney to go fuck himself. I don't know, something like that. Are these the clips? Let's see what he says here. This is a little long, but where's the part? I just want to show you the main part. I think is this it? Let's see if this is it.
So I will certainly not pander. And Jonathan, the only reason I'm here is because you were a friend. What was my speaking fee?
You're not making any. Hey, first of all, I'm Andrew. But
yeah, sorry,
it's okay. Second of all, we've known each other for a very long time.
Oh, he did.
So I will certainly.
He said the only reason The only reason I'm here, Jonathan, is because you are a friend. I'm Andrew. That's funny. I think this is the, this might be, here's the, is this the Disney part of the clip? Let me see if this is it. He's talking about Disney CEOs.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go fuck yourself. But go fuck yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob.
So what's happening right now is many advertisers are pulling their advertising from X for various reasons. Part of it is, and that's why one of the reasons why Elon's suing Media Matters, because they manipulated some things to make Twitter/X look bad. And so basically he's saying the advertisers who pulled out of X should go fuck themselves. The whole saga is everything wrong with the country today. This is interesting. We face real problems in the nation, massive problems, but instead of actually doing anything about it, we're obsessing over triviality, celebrity gossip, virtual signaling. I'm taking a stand against Elon Musk's tweet. He's so anti-Semitic. Give me a fucking break. You're not helping anyone. You're not making anything better. You're just shitting on those who are actually trying to twist their words and smear them, not out of a desire to help the Jewish people, but just because you don't like them. Instead of rebuilding America for a new century, we're tearing each other apart. Reject cancel culture. Let people speak. Let people say dumb shit and make mistakes without shitting your pants constantly. And when you see companies doing this shit, caving into the woke mob, I think they mean suppressing free speech, stop supporting those businesses. Give them a taste of their own medicine. We lose our ability to speak our minds. We lose the ability to make things better. So yeah, there are several companies who are basically falling in line with the Media Matters bullshit. Hey, Bob Iger. Let's see. My account is under attack. Thousands of Zionists are trying to take me down for exposing Israel's violation of international law. They're begging Elon Musk to suspend me. Oh, whatever. Elon Musk to advertisers trying to blackmail X into censorship. Go fuck yourself. This is how you handle woke bullies. Thank you, Elon Musk, for protecting free speech. Always remember, people start hating you when they cannot control you. Yeah. Look, will he let X go down if that happens? A lot of people are suggesting that maybe he'd be better off looking for more regional type advertisers and things for X. Let's see. We stand with you, Elon. We stand with X. We stand with the truth. Advertisers like Disney think that this Times Square is run by them, but it's the people's town. Oh, he said meant town square, but it's the people's town square, and the judge is public. X belongs to the people. So that's pretty funny, though. For those of you who missed the Deal Book Summit interview with Elon Musk, archive this and share for educational purposes. So the entire interview is here in this. In fact, I'm going to bookmark this myself for my own sake, and I'll add it to my. Now I don't care which folder. Anyway, real quick, thank you, Jimmy Does Hotep sponsors the show with a big bullet, and now you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Jimmy says, don't let them tell you this is a reduction in inflation. It is not. Just means they are fucking up less fast this month. Government inflation through overspending is never good. They are playing with the numbers and phrasing. Yeah, of course they are. Of course they are. When they start saying, because they love to say, oh, inflation is down. Yeah, it's down from highs and everything, but it's still inflation. It's not deflation. The prices aren't down. It's just inflation. All right. I'm going to move on because I got to get through this. Ben Carson is trending. Apparently, I don't know who floated the rumor, but people are saying that Ben Carson might be Donald Trump's pick to run as vice president. So that rumor's flying around. Sources close to Trump claim he's strongly considering Dr. Ben Carson as his VP. What do you think of the Trump-Carson ticket? Well, I don't know. Daryl Scott says they're talking about Ben Carson for VP. I'm going to throw my hat in the ring for Secretary of State. That's Pastor Daryl Scott. He's kind of funny on Twitter. But some people are giving the side eye when you hear Ben Carson might be Trump's running mate. Look, Ben Carson is one of the incredible self-made men of the 20th century and into this century. He grew up in the projects, became one of the world's most renowned surgeons. He's one of those people who goes in and separates conjoined twins. Some, in fact, the ones that were, he is famous because he separated twins that were conjoined at the head. And he's a brilliant person. Now, some people like to say, some on the left like to say that he's dumb. I got to tell you, I don't know that that a surgeon of his caliber could ever be dumb. I don't know, but Trump's biggest weakness is he has always been terrible at picking personnel. So Ben Carson for VP would be not be a shocking pick. Some people are saying that's not a good pick, but it's an interesting pick, and it's some, there's all kinds of names going to be floated out there. So there you go. None of this. Oh, Siamese twins. None of this conjoined nonsense. I got you. Oh, you're watching on delay. You didn't realize you're behind. Well, Jimmy, put it up on 1.5 speed and catch up. There you go. So that's interesting. I don't care who Donald Trump picks as vice president at this point. I'm sure there's going to be multiple opportunities and multiple people that he could choose from. I want to see if he makes it to the election. I want to see if they try to put him in jail first. This whole thing with Joe Biden, Sundowner Joe, probably not interested in campaigning again. They'll probably try to keep him in the basement if they run him again, versus Trump, who's going through all these trials. It's crazy. It's all crazy to me. So anyway, Dr. Carson is also trending. I'll skip that since we just did Ben Carson. George Santos is in the news. Apparently, George Santos had a little news conference this morning, and they're going to be trying to kick his ass out of Congress for being the shitbaggy that he is. New York Representative George Santos says there's a double standard in Congress that allows others to escape investigation and plead to lesser charges while he is vilified. Now, one of the things that he's doing today, hello, Sure You Gospel, nice to see you. One of the things that George Santos is doing is, so the media is demanding Bob Menendez, interesting. Is the media demanding that Bob Menendez resign, Jamal Bowman, so they can go fuck right off about George Santos? Yeah, that's interesting. Let's see. Here's, now George Santos is also saying that he will not resign. Here's a little clip about that. Oh, you can't even hear.
This is bullying. The chair of the committee putting out a motion to expel, just introducing it and not calling it privilege, was designed to force me to resign. But he didn't.
Okay, I can't even hear that, so that's dumb. He says he's not going to resign, though. Now, one of the things also George Santos is going to do is he's going to put out a resolution to investigate Jamal Bowman and have him removed from Congress for his little fire drill skit or skit. Not what is that? Not fire drill skit. Fire drill stunt. Let's see. The GOP doesn't have the time to impeach. Now there are some interesting thoughts of this, and this is Emerald Robinson. The GOP doesn't have time to impeach Biden, but the GOP has time to expel George Santos. Well, they don't have anything solid to impeach Biden on. So that's why they don't have time. They're doing an inquiry into it and into his dealings with the, foreign whatevers. But whereas George Santos is, he's the lying guy. Yeah, that's the ticket. So anyway, now George Santos announced this morning he will file a resolution today to expel House Representative Jamal Bowman. Tom Emmer suggests the motion with Brown, The motion with Brown to coincide with Santos' own motion, Santos being the desperate simp that he is, ran with the idea. Okay, whatever. Here's a question. If it's truly a distraction from the institution, why not just resign? Because if I leave, they win. This is bullying. That's his answer. So there's clips of the press conference from this morning. Oh, Brian Stelter chimed in. If I leave, they win. Santos is holding a bonkers press conference in D.C. right now, live coverage. Okay, whatever. So he was trending. What else is trending? Marco Rubio. Oh, Marco Rubio's trending. And this is, I'm not a fan necessarily of Marco Rubio, but Marco Rubio threw down with Code Pink this morning or yesterday. And if you need to find a reason to have a little more respect for Marco Rubio, this will be it. This is, and if you know who Medea Benjamin is, she's a omnipresent protester in the Capitol with Code Pink. If y'all remember Code Pink. So here's Marco Rubio talking to Code Pink.
Senator Rubio, will you call for ceasefire? No, I will not. On the contrary.
Now, no hesitation whatsoever. But listen to what he says to these Code Pink, what should I call them? Commies? No, whatever. They're. I understand they're totally they're 100% anti-war, but they're just left-wing nutjob peoples. But anyway, listen to this answer though. This is an answer that you could respect Marco Rubio for.
Are you filming it?
Wait,
I want you guys to get this. I want them to destroy every element of Hamas they can get their hands on. These people are vicious animals who did horrifying crimes.
But what about the babies?
And what about the civilians that are being killed every day?
Hamas should stop hiding behind civilians, putting civilians in the way. Hamas knew that this was going to lead to this. So Hamas should stop building their military installations underneath hospitals.
So you don't care that 15,000 have died? You don't care about the babies that are being killed every day?
I think it's horrifying. I think it's terrible, and I think Hamas is 100% to blame.
Marco Rubio! Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Marco Rubio showing a little gumption there. What about who is that guy? My respect for Marco Rubio just went up a little bit. Just a little bit. So that's why he's trending. Everyone's playing that clip. It's like, yeah. And that's true. It's like, look, Hamas knew what they were doing. They hide behind the reason there's so many citizen signs because they're preventing them. They don't want them to allow them to leave. And that's funny. The reason I said Rubio, and I living in Minneapolis, okay, when the Timberwolves had Ricky Rubio. Okay, Ricky Rubio was a point guard for the Timberwolves when Kevin Garnett was in his third or fourth year in the league, whatever. And that was our big thing in Minnesota. We used to yell, Rubio! And so that's why I did that. So anyway, and then also, let's see, is this the one where it says Hamas supporters with the U.S. Senate calling for a ceasefire? They probably won't be posting this video. So here's also... is this the same video? I'm not sure. Let's see what this is. This might be there. Let's put it so you can see it. There we go. Let's see what this is. This the same thing?
Senator Rubio, will you call for a ceasefire?
No, I will not.
Oh yeah, that's the same one. And look, I don't know that Medea Benjamin is a Hamas supporter, but definitely wearing the Gaza stuff, whatever. I know people who are like this. They don't necessarily support Hamas, but they sure don't say that Hamas did anything wrong, and that's the thing that concerns me. All right, Buckley is trending something that apparently Dave Smith, the comic and libertarian whatever guy, said something about Bill Buckley, and Tucker Carlson laughed at it, and everyone is losing their mind over it, and I don't know why. I mean, I get it. Bill Buckley, William F. Buckley, the longtime conservative icon, they said they were talking about him, I guess. But then again, when you say Buckley, Tucker Carlson has a son named Buckley and a brother named Buckley. And he named his son after his brother, even though some people think he named his son after Bill Buckley. But anyway, this is the exchange that has everybody all giddy, and I'm not sure why, and maybe you can explain it to me in the chat.
Like I view Bill Buckley as one of like the great villains of the 20th century. I think he ruined.
I couldn't agree more.
Yes, but he was clearly very, also CIA, by the way, but he was also a very
Okay, that's it. They're highlighting this 14-second clip of an interview that they don't show any of the rest of it. So I don't even know what to take in context when he says this. Now again, Bill Buckley and Henry Kissinger were kind of, I wouldn't say thick as thieves, but they had a mindset. Yay, Kissinger's first day in hell. See, there's another one. Episkopos and Kessler are in the house. Are we grave dancing today? Well, we kind of are. I'm staying as neutral as I can on Kissinger, but because he did some good things, but he did some shitty things, and holy shit, he did. I didn't know I was a kid when Kissinger was actually around. Oh, it was a good interview. Yeah, I might have to check this one out. I haven't seen it with Dave Smith, but anyway, that's why that Buckley is trending. Lowe's is trending now. One of the reasons Lowe's is trending because, well, there's two reasons. Okay. The first one is there's people like Brooklyn Dad Defiant, this jackass, who says Lowe's is greater than Home Depot. Any questions? Because Home Depot's billionaire founder says he'll fund Trump even if he's convicted. Yes, Bernie Marcus has said that he's going to still be a big donor to the GOP and Trump. Okay? So a lot of people on the left are like, well, you should stop. You should boycott Home Depot and buy at Lowe's. Look, most of you lefties probably don't do a lot of shit with your hands anyway. Well, I didn't jerk off, and so I can't imagine a bunch of lefties going to Home Depot or whatever. They probably go to the organic wood garden and saw things with a butter knife. I don't see, I don't, when I think power tools and home improvement, I don't think lefties, although a lot of them probably are good at that kind of stuff. I shouldn't even generalize like that because most are very creative and whatever. But anyway, that's one reason Lowe's is trending, because people say, oh, you should go to Lowe's instead of Home Depot or Menards or whatever. Save big money at Menards. Hey, you have no idea what I'm doing there. But the other reason Lowe's is trending is because Lowe's is closing down their entire IT department. It says, WTF News, Lowe's fires their whole IT department of 200 employees to send the work overseas as to, of course, India. So maybe not support Lowe's anymore. So now I don't know if that's an accurate article. Here's the article that they accompany with this. Lowe's lays off worker in IT department. Employees says jobs being sent overseas. The Mooresville-based home improvement retailer Lowe's has confirmed it is laying off a number of employees. So they've confirmed it. One of the impacted employees told Queen City News all Tier 1 workers at the company's IT service desk were being let go. Okay, wait a minute. Not their entire IT department, but maybe it's just the IT service desk. Those are the people who answer the phones in the call center when other Lowe's staffers need technical assistance. So they're sending their call center to India. Wow, I've never heard of anyone doing that before. So if you work for Lowe's and you need technical support, you're going to talk to Raji and whoever else. So anyway, Lowe's is trending for a couple different reasons. All right, moving on. Doctor. Okay. I don't want to get too excited here. Dr. Anthony Fauci is trending, but not for a reason good for Anthony Fauci. So here's a couple reasons. One, a U.S. health official working for Dr. Fauci raised concerns about the Wuhan Institute in 2017 after learning the lab was reverse engineering Ebola. Wait a minute. What? They were reverse engineering Ebola? The official was ordered to delete any comment about Ebola in her report. Dr. Fauci has a lot of explaining to. So this is the Fox News report on that. Maybe. What the hell's that? What's going on there? I've never seen that happen before. Here we go.
I'm Bill Hemmer. Good morning at home. We're now learning a U.S. health official working for Dr. Fauci raised serious safety concerns 6 years ago in 2017 after taking a tour of the lab in Wuhan, China's first ever level 4 biosafety lab for handling dangerous pathogens.
The U.S. official was shocked and alarmed after learning the lab was considering plans to reverse engineer the deadly Ebola virus. But when she told superiors before writing her report, she was ordered to delete any reference to Ebola.
Well,
bye.
Rich Edson follows it up on what they knew and why they might want to hide that critical information. Rich, hello to you. Good morning.
That's okay. I need that. Let's see. And there's also a monologue on by Rogan talking about Fauci. This is not, there was a specific one I wanted to show you here. Oh, this is it. I'm going to make this a separate link here, though. Talking about the foibles of Dr. Fauci. And then I got to get out of here. I didn't realize it was so late. But here's a timeline for Dr. Anthony Fauci. In 1980, Fauci leads the National Institute of Health and pushes for more research funding through Big Pharma. Fauci starts in 85, started using PCR tests at high cycle rates to get high rates of false positives. 85, he also pushes for deadly drug AZT for AIDS experimental vaccine using PCR false positives and phony studies. 85, again, he kills hundreds of thousands and still impairs hundreds of thousands more with permanent debilitating cancers and other diseases with AZT. FDA finally discontinued its use. 2009, Fauci pushes swine flu panic and uses PCR false positives and phony reports to get emergency use approval for a deadly vaccine. 25 people die and tens of thousands are disabled before the FDA halted sale and distribution for flu. In 2015, he funds the University of North Carolina gain-of-function research on coronaviruses. 2017, Fauci funds coronavirus research at the Wuhan lab in China, sidestepping Trump. 2019, Fauci helps ban other meds like HCQ and ivermectin from being used to fight COVID. In 2020, Fauci pushes to get at least 28 COVID vaccines and boosters approved for emergency use with the help of PCR false positives and phony death reports. Fuck Anthony Fauci! Enough said. My last trending topic was, it wasn't a trending topic, but I do want to, I'm going to highlight this. Okay, Gunfox, I'm not going to even tell you what the headlines of the articles are. There's all kinds of articles you can read. They'll be in the links that I drop in the link in the chat as soon as you do the outro. Thank you, Gunfox61, dropping a Hamilton in the tip jar. And you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Here we go. This is, I'm going to do these two last. And I saw this, Gunfox. I didn't bring it out, but we'll do this last article, and then I have one final note to end on that I wanted to end on. Minnesota Middle School bans students' cell phones, and kids are happy. The difference is night and day. Look, I saw there was a school, I think in North Carolina, that did this too. And they said student achievements way up, and kids are just better. But here it is: a Minnesota middle school banned student cell phones a year ago, and the difference it made was night and day, according to school officials. I believe the ban is game-changing and will have lasting impacts on our students for years to come. Maple Grove Middle School Principal Patrick Smith told WCCO, "There was no cross-the-table conversations. There was no interaction in hallways," he said. And let's be real, with these devices, our students, especially our teenagers, there's a lot of drama that comes from social media and a lot of conflict that comes from it. Last year, school officials banned student cell phone use for the entire school day from 8:10 a.m. to 2:40 p.m. following a variety of issues at the school tied to the devices. We have a culture and climate concern. Okay, we see issues that kids are getting on their phones through interactions of bullying and setting up fights, just the gambit of a lot more of the negative things. Kids are going back and forth on social media, Smith said in a chat on the Chad Hartman show, adding that distraction from learning was also a major concern. The new policy encourages students to keep their phones in their lockers, and the devices are confiscated for the day if the students are caught using them. School officials vetted the idea with parents ahead of implementation, and their response was super positive, Smith said. When they unveiled the plan, parents applauded, he said. Nobody has ever pushed back, he said. I mean, in my experience, not one parent or community member has come in and said that this is bogus, you shouldn't be doing this, our kids should be able to have their phone. It's been a very, very much supported by our community and our parents and staff. After a year, the results speak for themselves. In the grand scheme of things, kids are happy. They're engaging with each other, Smith said. The hallway behavior is just night and day. While it remains to be seen how the changes impacted academics overall, feedback from parents who spoke with WCCO suggested it's making a difference. I did notice that he is thriving and really focused and doing really well, parent Kim Gillen said. Parents participates in class discussions. I get feedback from teachers on that. The positive results at Maple Grove has bolstered Republican State Representative Kristen Robbins' efforts to bring change to more schools in Minnesota. This is an area that we can really make progress, he told WCCO. The research shows if the phone is nearby, it's a mental distraction because they're wondering, what's happening with my phone? How can I sneak it? Should I go to the bathroom and check my phone? A recent study from Common Sense Media examining smartphone data of 200 students found that 97% of 11 to 17-year-olds use their phones during the school day, with the amount of in-school screen time ranging from less than a minute to 6.5 hours. The median time was 43 minutes. The study found students picked up their phones a median of 51 times per day, though pickup amounts range from 2 to 498 times a day, K through 12 Dive reports. So I've heard this at other schools where that's been very successful, and I have no problem with it. Again, there's going to be a ton of articles in the links today. This is the one tweet, though, that I saved and pulled out because it was so stupid, I had to show it to you. Someone named Brianna Joy Gray. Now, she's a very popular person. She's got about 371,000 followers, and apparently she's a writer or some shit. She wrote this on the app known as X, formerly known as Twitter, and boy, is this stupid. She said, Jesus was a Palestinian Jew. The issue isn't whether Jewish people have a right to live in the region. Of course they do. It's whether they have the right to displace everyone else to create a Jewish ethno-national apartheid state. Now, and that's in response to Dave Rubin. It says billions of people around the globe are about to celebrate the birthday of a Jewish man born in Bethlehem 2,000 plus years ago, but don't think Jews lived there before 1948. Okay, now, but wait a minute. She said Jesus was a Palestinian Jew. Really? That's fascinating, because when Jesus was born, that was called Judea. And the thought of Palestinian, first of all, Palestinian is a Roman term. When the Romans were trying to, kind of cleanse the area, so to speak, of the Jews, and wanted to remove kind of the hint that was a Jewish area, and the Romans changed it to Philistia, which is where Palestine comes from. The word Palestine is from Philistia or something like that. And guess what? There was no one called a Palestinian in that region. And again, it was a region too. It wasn't even a country. It was just they called the region Philistia. And Judea and the other areas, and then the Turks took it over at some point. Remember, and the Turks, there wasn't the Arab Palestinians, because there was all kinds of people that lived there, but the Turks took over the region, right? And then the British took over the region and kind of called it Palestine too, but it was a region. It wasn't a country. And then when they, the Israel thing, and the rest is history. But the idea that and Jews had lived there for centuries, not even millennia. So, but the idea that he was a Palestinian Jew, no, there was no such thing as a Palestine when Jesus was born. In fact, that wasn't until the 1500s that anything even resembling the word Palestine, which is a Roman term, okay? So it's not even an Arab term. So all these people who decided to start calling themselves Palestinians in the 1960s are using a Roman term to define themselves. It's fucking fascinating. So I replied, did I reply this? Anyway, Dave Rubin replied, Jesus was a Jew from Judea. No, Jesus was a Jew from Judea around 60 years before Hadrian got pissed off and renamed the province Syria Palestina to erase Jewish history. Yes. So anyway, that's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Well, no, it's not. There's always more. There's always something dumber. But on that note, I got to go. I didn't realize I was running late. There's a whole ton of articles that I didn't even get to. I was going to go through the headlines and I was so busy. I got stuck on whatever I got stuck on. Anyway, thanks for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I'll be back tomorrow, like on my Monday through Friday thing at 10 a.m. Eastern or somewhere around that. Please share the stream, hit the like button if you haven't already. 39 people, 40 people, 29 likes. There's 11 of you who haven't liked this stream yet. I don't know how many are on Rumble. Rumble, there's how many? 17 on Rumble. I don't know, and I don't. The likes don't pop up right away. But anyway, one like on Rumble. So if you're on Rumble, hit the thumbs up thing there. You always thumb up this show, and that's it. All right, guys, I gotta go. Thanks for being here. My name is P Dog Knight, and I am out of here. Bye. Have a great day. I'll put the links in the chat. Hey, this is P Dog Knight, and thanks for watching today on the P Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.